First and foremost, thank you everybody for coming. This is a quick hitter. We only got about 25 minutes. My goal for you is the silence that we hear right now is what we want to hear for the next 25 minutes. I'm very excited. We're going to get started right away. Most of you have heard of Erin Song before. She's worked with a lot of high school, collegiate, and professional athletes, both in the area and in the Mid-Atlantic region. Went to IUP, played 2 sports, swam, played lacrosse, and then got into coaching. She coached swimming at Boston University and at the Naval Academy, and then coached Bloomsburg University, Division II level lacrosse, where she led them to the championship, was PSAC Coach of the Year. Now her life is working with student athletes on the mental side of sports. We always talk about the physical side of sports. Those that are in ALC, we talk a lot about the mental, so I'm very excited for today. Without further ado, give me 2 claps for Erin Song.
Awesome, thank you. Thanks for that introduction. Can everyone hear me? Yeah. Even in the back? Awesome, I always like to give a shout out to the people who sit up in front. It is shown, research shows that the people who sit in front are going to be more engaged, they're going to be better remembered, they're going to participate more, right? So the people sitting up front, I always recommend if you're sitting in the back, maybe it's because there's no seats, that's okay, right? There's only 6 in the front, so, but you know, in the front rows, I encourage it. If you are in class, sit in the front row, you're going to learn more, you're going to get a better experience. If you go to college, sit in the front row, introduce yourself to the teacher. It's really, really impactful. First impressions are powerful. So on to the next. Coach just kind of said who I am, what I do. Just to recap, I was a college coach after being a collegiate athlete myself. Didn't get enough of it, couldn't figure out what my life would be without lacrosse, swimming, so I went into coaching. Coaching was awesome, absolutely loved it. Was a college coach for about a decade, and then I became a high school counselor. I absolutely loved being a high school counselor. I was a high school counselor, high school lacrosse coach, and what I found was the same things I saw on the field, whether it was high school or college, were the same things that I saw in the classroom. So anytime that I started talking to kids, to students, to athletes, I realized that there were some main things that kept coming through. And I thought, man, what if I could go out and teach more than the people that sit in my office, teach more than the people that sit on my teams, and really make a positive impact. So that is what I do now. That's my goal, is to make help you become a better version of yourself, athletically, academically, and as a person. So everything we talk about today, it'll go quick. Everything that we talk about will be things that you can use in athletics, whatever sport you play, in your academics, and in life, career, family, whatever else you do. So when I say mental performance, what do you guys think about? What comes to mind when I say mental performance? Yes, right there. Huh? Confidence, absolutely. Confidence is a huge topic. What else? Being able to focus. Being able to focus, yes. What else? Hand up or just call them out. What do you think? What was it? Yeah. Self-awareness, how you think of yourself, creating a high self-esteem, right? I'm going to run down them. Understanding the power of the mind, self-awareness, confidence, relaxation, visualization, understanding pressure, redefining your nerves, mental toughness and resilience, positive self-talk, positive thinking, energy management, emotion control, appreciating challenges through as opportunities, gratitude for the experience, overcoming fear, making mistakes, fear of failure, focus, present, and goal setting. Always focused on the action. Awesome. Okay, is this better? Yeah. Okay, awesome. So you guys see here, there's a list of things that I no, I don't need to yell, huh? There's a list of things that I work on with athletes at all levels. So if any of these, you look at them, you're like, man, I really need to focus on that. These are things that as a mental performance coach, I work on. So just to give you some examples. We're going to start today with an exercise. I want everyone, no one's going to care what you look like, no one's going to judge you. I want everyone to close your eyes and put your hands out in front of you, palms up. I don't want you to rest your hands or arms on your legs or on your chair. Arms out in front of you. We don't need to talk here. We're just putting our arms out and we're closing our eyes. All right, in your right hand, I am placing a 10-pound weight. In your right hand, I am placing a 10-pound weight. I am attaching a dozen balloons, 12 balloons to your left hand. Sit in this moment. We're not looking around. This is for you. In your right hand, 10-pound weight. It's getting heavy. Your shoulder might even start to burn holding this weight. Your left hand, weightless. Balloons are allowing your left hand to rise. It's pulling you up. Open your eyes. Look at your hands. All right. Guys, I'm going to tell you. Quiet, please. That exercise is powerful. I'll tell you, I did it with a men's, it was a lacrosse team yesterday, it was a soccer player. And he literally was like rolling out his shoulder after, right? I had him hold it a little bit longer. But how many of you felt your right hand heavier than your left hand? Right? Was there anything in either hand? No. That right there is the power of your mind. Okay? So without even doing anything, you had the belief that your right hand was heavier than your left hand. So now we're going to talk about this power of your mind. So you all train a ton physically, right? Maybe 10, 12 hours a week at least, 2 hours a day. When you're not playing games, maybe some of you go to a gym on the side to work on your physical fitness. Maybe some of you do some rehab, right? Maybe some prehab, hopefully. Some strength, conditioning, field work, skills, drills. You guys put in a ton of work physically. How much work do we put in mentally? So surprisingly, you probably put in more than you think about because we all set goals, right? We all have times that we set goals. We all think about what we want to achieve. We all work through negative self-talk, but we're not doing it consciously, right? So if we are able to see the power of our mind, we just did that exercise, you guys know how powerful it is. Have you guys ever heard how much sport is physical versus mental? How much? What do you guys think? How much do you think? 60-40. What do you guys think? 50-50. 70-30. All right. I will tell you there is no way to determine that answer. But they say it's between 80 to 90 mental and 10 to 20 physical. Because everything we do physical starts in our mind. Everything we do physically begins in our mind. It takes a thought to create action. So if you want to do something to get better physically, it takes thought. It takes a plan. It takes action. So as we grow, it starts in our mind. So we are going to begin to work on our mindset today. So the way that I like to think about it is a driver versus a passenger. If you're driving a car, and I know not all of us here drive, but you can see the analogy. If you're driving a car, you are in control. You have 100% of control over how fast the car goes, where the car goes, the route that you're going to take. Other cars around you, if they're slowing down, you can slow down. We sit in the passenger seat, and we can see everything going on around us, but we have no control over the car that we're in. So we see it, but we don't control it. And I believe that's how most of us live life. We go through the motions. We see things going on around us, but we don't take control of what we are in control of. So I have some examples up here. This all has happened within the last month of different student athletes saying different things that we changed. So I feel like I will not be fast enough because of so-and-so swimmer on another team. The team is better than us. My national championship 2 years ago was a fluke. It was a COVID year. It didn't really happen. That is a national championship swimmer thinking that. So how do we get her into the driver's seat? How do we get her into control? One, we remind her that she was the best swimmer at that meet on that day. She did everything she could to go a really fast time, her best time ever, right? And that time led her to a national championship that year. Sometimes it's all about where we are when we're there, right? We can't think about the athletes that aren't there, the people who didn't choose to swim or show up. We race, we compete against who is there, bringing our best self. Number two, that field is the worst. It's so hard to play on because of all the divots in the field and on the pitcher's mound. That came from a baseball player recently. It doesn't matter what the field looks like, guys. It doesn't matter the result of the last time we played there. The pool, the gym, none of that matters. What matters is how you show up and how you play in that environment. The next one. As I'm wrestling, I look at the clock to see how much time I have so I can go through different scenarios in my mind. A national qualifier for this year for wrestling. That example, we talked through it, right? He is wrestling the next minute while he's on the mat, right? He's focused on the clock. He's not focused on what he can do in the moment. How do we change it? Next attack, next position, this position. How do I score right now, right? We're not focused on what's going to happen when. We do it right now. This one comes up pretty often. But we will lose that game because they are ranked higher. We expect to lose that game because that team is better than us. They are ranked higher. I'm going to tell you guys right now, I was a part of Bloomsburg Lacrosse when we won the PSAC championship in 2012. That team went into the conference tournament seeded 6th. We won that tournament. The lowest seeded team to ever win a tournament. And this is the stuff we were talking about, guys. We didn't care who we were playing. We didn't care that we were going against the number 4, number 2 seed. We didn't care that we were playing on a field that had different turf than we had. We showed up and we played our game, right? And there was some adversity there. The game got delayed because there was a thunderstorm. We had to decide, do we want to continue waiting and play tonight, or do we want to show up and play tomorrow? So there was some adversity. Didn't shake us. I don't compete well in the morning. So for our swimmers who have morning swims and then final swims, a lot of times they say, oh man, I just have to swim my best in the morning to make it to finals, right? I don't swim well in the morning. I just want to get to finals. That's a story that was made up in that person's mind. We can choose any given day to be a morning swimmer. We can choose any given day to show up at a field or a time in any weather that maybe we didn't perform well in the past and say, today's a brand new day. I invite the challenge, I'm excited for it. I'm going to change the story that has been in the past right now. And then the final one, and this one just happened this week, but I've heard it a ton. If I make a mistake, I'm going to get pulled out of the game, and I'm not going to get put back in. Therefore, I cannot take risks. I can't take challenges. I have to play safe because I don't want to get pulled. You will get pulled because you're playing safe. You will get pulled because you're not taking risks. So why not take that risk and shoot that shot, right? Why not take that dodge? Why not go for that takedown? Why not swim all out in a 200 to see what you can go? Any time that you start to limit yourself, and these are all real examples, guys. Have heard in the past month or two from, most of these are college swimmers or college athletes. Yes, all these examples. So know that it doesn't make it any better when we get to the next level, right? The things that you feel, if you do not work on them, if you do not challenge yourself to grow, they will not change. Okay, so I want you guys to take a minute here. If we can keep it together, just turn to a partner. What's a time that you sat in the passenger seat? You allowed a ref, an official, a place, a field to affect the way that you're going to play. 1 minute. Who is going to be courageous and share what they just said? Because I'll tell you what, when an athlete shares something and is courageous in front of others, one, it helps you build confidence to know that you can do it. And two, you tell someone else that it's okay that whatever they just said happens, right? So by sharing, if someone looks up to you, you're like, oh my gosh, a national champion was in the last, I'm like, oh my God, she's so fast, right? How could she ever have self-doubt? She does, right? Her teammates knowing that and hearing that help them on the days that they feel nervous, overwhelmed, negative. What do you got? One example. Who's going to be our, I can pick someone. All right, right here.
Me?
Yes.
Last year we showed up to CB East for a lacrosse game, and we were on grass, and then we were expected to be on turf, and a lot of the kids on the team were complaining about playing on wet grass.
Awesome example. How do you put yourself in the driver's seat there?
Doesn't matter about the field, you just got to play your best.
That's right. Everyone's playing on the same field, same conditions. So he said, for those of you, yeah, thank you. Okay, so for those of you that did not hear in the back, they showed up to a game last year expecting to play on turf, and they ended up playing on wet grass. Everyone was complaining. Which brings me to our next topic, all right? Negative thoughts. So I'm going to tell you guys, research shows that we have thousands of thoughts a day. Thousands of thoughts. Next time you're brushing your teeth, become aware, become conscious, you're thinking, right? Next time you're getting ready for a game, thoughts are going through your mind. On average, what percentage of thoughts do you believe are negative? On average? 60, 30, 90, wow. 70. All right. All right, I'm going to tell you guys, 80% of our thoughts are negative. 80%. And of that 80%, 95% of those 80% you'll have the same day, same the next day. So if you think today, oh man, practice is going to be really hard, I don't want to go. Chances are, 95% of chances are you're going to have that same thought the next day. So my goal for you guys is to rewire your brain. I will give 2 examples. I was just talking to Miss Nice, Miss Nace, before the presentation. And one of the things we talked about was I got cut from my high school lacrosse team in 11th grade. Most people get cut in 10th grade. I made the 10th grade team. I thought I was good. I was a water polo player, swimmer, and lacrosse player. I got cut. I was devastated, destroyed. I cried all night. The team roster was posted outside the locker room door. So not only could lacrosse players see it, but everyone could see it. I was really embarrassed. It got the best of me. And I will never forget the moment my dad said, Erin, are you going to sit here and cry, or are you going to do something about it? And I thought, no, Dad, I want to sit here and cry. But I knew that was not what he wanted me to do. And my dad was a very driving force in my life, so I was not going to let him down. So swimming states were going on that weekend. I did not qualify for swimming states, but I went to support my team at Penn State. While I was watching, I got inspired. I said, there is nothing that is going to stop me from making the state team next year. So I focused on that summer swimming more. I focused on that summer playing lacrosse more. I didn't allow the coach cutting me to affect me thinking that I was a lacrosse player, because I was. Senior year, I made states, and I made the lacrosse team. Went on to play college lacrosse and coach college lacrosse, right? So what happens is we get negative thoughts. So I got my negative thoughts through this experience, right? Got cut from a lacrosse team. I'm not good enough. I'm not fast enough. I'm not strong enough. All these other girls are better than me. Instead, I changed it to 3 positives. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to make my state team next year. And you know what? I'm going to try out for lacrosse again next year. See what happens. I used that negative situation, and I will tell you what, guys, I turned it into way more than 3 positives. Okay? So we want to rewire our mind, our brain, to think positive. So anytime you guys have a negative thought, and guys, they happen all the time, right? I don't want to go to morning practice. I heard we're running today. It's going to be hard. it's going to be raining, it's going to be cold out. This is going to suck. So-and-so's getting more playtime than me. Coach isn't giving me a chance. Right? All of these thoughts go through our heads. Let's change it to academics. This test is hard. The teacher didn't put anything on the study guide that was actually on the test. Right? I have so much homework. I have a paper due tonight. I don't want to do it. All of these thoughts are ruminating in your mind. If you don't take control of these thoughts, they are going to control you. So anytime you have the ability to recognize a negative thought, I want you to change it into 3 positives. Okay, so similar to my lacrosse example, we were going to do it today, but we're running low on time, and I want to see a few minutes for questions. So with that being said, if you guys have the opportunity to rewire your mind to think positive, I encourage you and empower you to do that. All right, so if I can just conclude with, I know today was very short, very brief, but if you can walk away knowing that your mind is powerful, the things that you think about control you, you will be a step ahead. All right, thank you guys for your time. Appreciate you.